when I like the weird thing is, it was actually I'm pretty sure you were still in Optic when I did that column about your career or whatever. And basically, the point of the career column is, first of all, I've done a few of those over my career. The point of them usually is it's usually a player who like needs to change something. Like they are good, but something needs to change, and so like. People try behind the scenes to have those conversations, but sometimes it's best, sometimes if you don't know the person, just do it publicly. Just kind of send a message like, this is a real thing I'm saying. So even though you took it well at the time, the problem is, mate, a lot of people, just because it's the social media age, they might just lie and say the same thing like, oh yeah, I agree, yeah, oh, I'm going to improve and put in a lot of effort, and they might just go and do nothing. Like, you know, they might just say it for the sake of saying it. Did you actually really think that something had to change? Had you already been thinking it before even that? Was it in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it a little bit. I was thinking that I need to get back in the game because I felt like every single time we played that I didn't really do what I was supposed to do, and I was mad every single time we lost a match. I wasn't like, yeah, we lost because they were better than us. I always thought that we lost because I was playing like a dog, like I didn't do what was supposed to be done, and I didn't have the focus. I didn't have the right mentality. I was just playing to play, and I think that was what, like the article that you made, kind of pushed me in the right direction and made me do things that I've never done before, like waking up early, playing DM, going to bed again, waking up, and doing all these kinds of exercises to get back in the game. And I think that it kind of pushed my career forward a little bit. Also made people open up their eyes for me again, like giving me a second chance. I think some people have gave up on me back in the day, seeing that I kind of fell off and that I was one of the best players for a long period of time, and then I fell off so hard because I went to a slump because of the depression and stuff like that. And I think that you made my eyes open up for like that there's still opportunity for me to be one of the greatest players in the world.
Actually, I've noticed if anyone follows your Instagram, there's always Instagram stories of you with that dog. And because of the what breed is the dog? Like, what is it?
Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
There we go.
You should know this.
Yeah, I just didn't know the name of the breed. But yeah, it's a British dog, yeah, right? But normally if you have that type of dog, right, because they can look super muscular, it's always people who are trying to be like the hard guy, like a rapper guy would have it, you know, and it would be on a fucking chain or something. So when I got that, I thought you were trying to do it to like flex and be tough. But all the Instagram stories, you're just being fucking lovely to it, mate. Is that like the softer side of is that the secret side that we get to see?
It's my little boy. It's the secret to everything. To love every morning and to eat. He's allowed to sleep in the bed every night. So it's the secret. I promise you.
There we go. Both are actually pretty clutch players. They're not very clutch players. They're pretty clutch in as much as they never tend to have a terrible performance. Like they will play well even in losses. Like, just go and look at that series that Dignitas played against SK Gaming in the round of 8 of E-League Season 2. Magisk goes missing for most of the game. The config's still hitting. He's still getting his, and he's still really pushing when the rest of the team looks like they're mentally breaking. Likewise, Doublelift's teams lost many times in the first rounds of the playoffs in NALCS and even at Worlds, but he would always have some games, some key moments where he was the one rock of the team. He was the one who wasn't collapsing. Now, it doesn't mean he carried the whole game always, but he was always able to not give in to the kind of mental fatigue, and he had a level of resiliency to it. I think that actually is a positive element of the cockiness and the confidence of these players, is that because they know their talent and they know they're skilled and they know they can go head to head with these guys, they don't get worried in the same way. They don't second guess themselves or think to themselves, oh, am I as good as this opponent over here? Oh, what can I do against them? They're winning the game. They always think they have a chance because they're so skilled. Individually, they can get themselves out of trouble and put themselves in good situations and sometimes turn around in a possible situation and win it out. And to them, yeah, it's no big deal, right? Whereas to someone else, the situation would be too tough and the other person wouldn't have the talent level to be able to get out of it, or would see that they're kind of in a tough situation and there's no way to resolve this tough equation, as it were, and as a result mentally give up a little bit or get beaten down in some senses itself. But giving up as many deaths as well makes it hard for him to be the dominating superstar player. He's never going to be like a Cold Zero who just kills you loads of times, dies very few times, and just puts this massive mismatch on the stats sheet that shows this guy's just dominating the game. k0nfig still has to develop it a bit more and lessen some of the deaths. And just basically, here's the key thing. It's like that Bruce Lee quote. It's not about the daily increase. It's about the daily decrease. And k0nfig needs to find a way to decrease some of the negatives while just maintaining those fantastic positives. And then, much like Doublelift, who is one of the best Western players of all time, you could make a case for him being the best Western player the last time he played with TSM. And you put him up in that scenario, k0nfig isn't quite at that level in his game yet. but he could be, and that's the key thing. So I think it's a pretty good reference point between the two, especially because one is further along the trajectory, and you can kind of see where k0nfig needs to go to match Doublelift in that sense. But I think there's a lot in terms of personality, the way they express that personality, the playfulness of the shit talking, the high skill level, but then also the downside that sometimes leads them to make poor decisions, which give up their lives and then can be a liability, even though they're also one of the main strengths of their teams. I think it's an interesting comparison point.
To me, it's absurd they've kicked this guy or let him go because he cannot be replaced in their team or in the Danish scene. He is the best Danish entry player currently, and it's only the fact Dupree exists that he's not the best of all time. And if you want to look at raw skill, he might be the best of all time. I think he is still one of the best entry players in the world. I think people expected way too much of him because of what they expect of Astralis. I think he is the biggest raw impact player on the team. He is almost the win condition in a lot of maps, along with Glaive's Mind. He might not be the best player in the team. That's probably Blame F, right? He's the guy who has to carry the load overall, but this guy makes it possible for Astralis to win T rounds and to become one of the absolute best. Not good, one of the absolute best. And this guy is one of the top 10 talents to ever play in CSGO, in my opinion. Maybe not in terms of how it's all manifested, but in terms of what he is capable of and what else he could do and the levels he can reach. He is unfucking believable. He is a monster talent. Like, if we're talking about most talented Danish players ever, this guy is number one, or he's top 3 at least. That's the kind of level we're talking about. So you know what? If he's going to actually rehab and he's going to get his mind right and he's going to humble himself and he's going to go to another team, he's going to play the roles he can play and he's going to build up his confidence again to be the person he can be, I'm telling you right now, this guy is destined for greatness. He will win another Tier 1 LAN trophy. He will be in one of those top 20 Player of the Year lists. One day, he will look back on this moment as some silly rock and roll anecdote from his youth that changed who he was as a person and started him on a journey that completely transformed his whole life. I hope that's the case, and I think it's very much possible. And I'll tell you what, as much as a lot of other people are going to be scared right now, this is where you prove your mettle as a GM, where you prove your mettle as an org, where you do your due diligence, you ask the right people, you look at the game, and you realise for a lot of orgs out there, this is the only chance you'll ever have to have a player of this talent level join your org, because you've got to buy when he's at his lowest. So if I am Evil Geniuses, if I am Complexity, if I'm Ents, if I'm OG, if I'm Heroic, if I'm Mouse, if I'm Fnatic, even if I'm NIP, I'm at least thinking about it. I'm at least inquiring. I'm at least talking to the players and the coaches and trying to figure out, could there be a way this could work for me? Because his troubles are why you could get him now and will not have another chance to do in the future when he becomes really good again. So I say buy low now and look like a genius next year. Similar to when LXCB got picked up by Nip. What a great pickup. Similar to when I hope Alex gets picked up in the future. These people are mustard. And this guy especially is one of the super talents. So I don't think it is the end of his career. I hope it isn't. And I'll do everything I can, as long as he remains a legit character, to make sure it isn't Counter-Strike, though. He's such a player. So what's it like to deal with a player like this, Rog? It seems like a very interesting character.
He's a very interesting character, and it's just that he even probably agrees with the kick himself. The follow-up thing is it probably got me and k0nfig kicked as well. Yes. So maybe that is not the highlight of my k0nfig talks, at least. But
True.
But yeah, he is a guy that has one of the best mechanical aims that you'll ever find. Like, even a guy like Scream, but everyone is praising for the highlights, bro. He did it how many times? Like, k0nfig can go and do it tomorrow and can do it all day if he wants to. The only thing I think that has always held k0nfig a bit back was his involvement and commitment to the game. I also talked a lot with him, and I also think you remember the tweet you did, and he kind of went out and said, yeah, this was the eye-opener I needed. Bro, I tried to kick that door for 2 years straight, you know?
Yep.
Basically get him to open his eyes.
Oh, by the way, I'll just say, Roger, one thing I will never take credit for is I didn't come up with that idea. I even say it in the article, dude. Like, I take all quotes. Like, I said all of it. It was all your. I say it because I wrote it to k0nfig, basically. In the article, I say it, dude. It's your teammates that all told me like you're the best aimer they've ever played with, but you've got all these other problems. So yeah, no, don't worry. I don't take credit for that. To me, that's like that thing where someone's trying to get the fucking pickle jar off, and I just came in at the end and popped it, but you'd already got it like 3/4 of the way off. So I'll give you an assist for that one.
I think it's also how k0nfig is, right? That I think sometimes he needs someone from the outside to actually give him a reality check.
Right.
And I think if you go back in his career, you can like drop down and find these like moments along the way where he needs to reinvent himself, kind of. So I don't want to take credit because I actually don't think he cared when I said it. but sometimes you need an outside guy to kind of burst your bubble. And I think for k0nfig, that is a guy that's very outspoken, very expressed. He always likes to be social. Sometimes you just need someone from the outside to say, bro, what the fuck are you doing, right?
I do think, like, this is the problem with Counter-Strike. This is what no player wants to hear, because basically I'm about to say the world is really unfair, right? If you're a normal player, I'd kick you with a fucking heartbeat. I'd press the button, I'd eject you out the city. I'd ban you from my team forever. I'd say you'll never play again. But the problem is, this isn't just any player, like Rugger just said. So the problem is, the second I knew they were kicking him, I remember just thinking, like, look, you might get device back, you might get some really good player. You're never going to have a player like that fucking exact skill set ever again.
Okay, but imagine you get device and him.
That's the dream, right? Exactly. That's also the other thing that killed me about that, because the dream of device coming back was to have device and k0nfig and blame. Like, what the
And
fuck?
Blamer,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. No one wanted like one for the other. Like, you wanted them all at the same time. No, I agree. That's a bit wild. What do you think on that, Roger?
On how we feel, but I still think that the video that they made, of course, put a lot of pressure on us as individual players. The announcement that they made that they want to do superstar signings, and the video about like them talking to different players and trying to make roster changes even before we got to the armor was a little bit of like someone like tied you up and just put you in the chair and be like, perform. I think everyone was a little bit stunned over the video, but I think it's just the way it is in NIP sometimes. Like unlucky that it was that time, but I think they did it because they felt like they had to do it. I don't
Oh,
know.
right. I see. You actually do interpret it that it wasn't just like, you know, sort of like, let's just say, not a great tone. It was more like they were trying to make it sort of like to put pressure on you guys to perform. Like, you have to, essentially, if you don't do well, we're going to change the team. They were almost setting that to you guys. It was almost a message to you, you think? I mean,
I try to use it as like fuel, you know, like
right.
Instead of taking it like, oh fuck, they're gonna get, I don't know, Yekida instead of me or something like that, you know. I want to use it like, I'm just gonna fucking try my best here, and whatever happens, happens, you know. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We've tried so many different roster changes now in the team, and I understood their decision, of course, by benching some other players and trying to build something on like from scratch. But yeah, I used it as like fuel to just get it fucking done. Like, just try to do this RMRs, do it as good as you can, and not think as like, oh, if I don't kill 20 this game, I'm kicked, you know, like, because I think that would have been way worse.
But if people go and look, I would just say this, right? First of all, every team that beat you, everyone's actually bigging up right now, all of them. Everyone actually tells me, by the way, Eternal Fire is supposed to actually be really good. Like, that was in super close. That was 13-11 if people don't know. The Amcal one is the old Entropic guys, and everyone also is loving that they're going to be like at the major. That was a fucking like mega OT game. So the first two losses out of the 3 lives are like, could be wins for Nip. And then, yeah, the third one, which I will say everyone did celebrate Saw making it, that one was, they did smash you on those ones. But like the first 2 lives, basically, like, these could even be wins. So even though I know the story will be written as, who gives a shit, Nip was trash anyway, the first 2 games seemed like actually this was a chance to make it to the major, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. It felt really good, honestly, when we were playing. We tried to do the things we've done in practice. We tried to just like focus on ourselves. Don't think too much about the opponents, because, you know, everyone brings new shit to the RMRs. Like, if you have too much anti-strat, maybe you can mindfuck yourself in some sort. Of course, you need to have tells and stuff like that. But yeah, like the CT sides that we played were pretty fucking good. Like, overall on the 2 BO1s, of course the Saw game, you can question that, right? But the two games we played versus Eternal Fire and Amcal were like pretty good games. The T sides not that much. The Eternal Fire game, I think we actually, if we won that game, I don't want to like say, oh, we would win the major, you know. But like, I think if we won that game, we would have a way better like role, because NIP have been always like this ever since I've been here. If we have a bad start to like a tournament, or if we have a bad start in a game, it's always harder for us to like keep the ball rolling. But if we like smash the first opponent, then the next game will be easier, and if we smash them, then the third game will be easier. So yeah, I mean, if we just fucking won that Eternal Fire game, it would have been way different. But yeah, we were struggling individually as well.
Now, you know you never catch me dolo online because I'm rolling deep and we dem boys. Who am I talking about? The Skrilluminati. So this video and the content on my channel is kindly supported by Matt Pugnatio Rajcula, Thorin, Jensen Goh, Nicky, Jasun. You know who my second in command is, Jerky's Minion. Do you want to suggest a topic or a guest for some of my content? Would you like to ask me a question in an AMA? Do you want to take part in one of those lengthy discussions where you get to set the topic? Maybe you want to see who upcoming guests are in my interviews and on my talk shows. Well, all of these perks and more are available to you if you put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrilluminati today. How? Via the Patreon link